kills all deals.
Man.
Time will ruin your deal. It can either make it or break it.
Ignorance says 7.1 and 9.1 is really not a big difference.
Yes.
It's only
2 points.
Oh, it's a difference.
A huge difference.
So to kind of give them a background, our first offer was accepted, right? Shopped. And then when the other offer came, I think 6 months went by, the rates went from here to here.
Yep.
Tiffany, I know push-ups and squats and how to empower people, but can you break down the difference of that 7.2? I think it was actually in the sixes, but those points that we lost, how much money does that equal when you want to get financing with interest rates?
Hundreds of thousands of dollars. Hundreds of thousands of dollars. And having the conversation with the sellers. So going back to our initial offer, it was definitely a lower offer, but it was accepted. Because the group wanted out, they accepted it. They went, shopped our offer. They ended up getting an offer that was above ours. They accepted it and then wanted us to accept, after that person dropped out, they wanted us to accept here. We weren't going for that. Y'all accepted us here, y'all had one here. They couldn't perform here for one reason or another, and it doesn't matter why. But when they came back to us, we had lost so much money due to interest rates. And the biggest thing that you can take from this is time kills all deals.
Man.
Time will ruin your deal. It can either make it or break it. So when they came back to us, interest rates had risen so much that we said, hey, even if we wanted to, we can no longer honor the price that you guys had before. Whereas 6 months beforehand, we could have gone for it. 6 months after, we could not. And so, and not even just because we didn't have, additional financial resources behind it, we had to take into consideration the condition of the facility and the building. We're putting in hundreds of thousands of dollars to the building to get it up and going.
Yeah.
So when you're calculating how much money you need, you can't just calculate the cost of the facility. You also have to calculate permitting, construction, the build out, the equipment, the unknowns, which there are always unknowns. And so, interest rates going up or down will absolutely impact your buying power and your spending power from a buyer standpoint. So when you're looking at something and you like it, you either got to move on it and poop or get off the pot.
Absolutely.
Otherwise, you'll lose that entire thing.
Absolutely.
And I know that's what, we had to go back to the sellers and have a very tough conversation with them. And not only did it impact our buying power, it impacted the value of the building.
Yeah.
I think sometimes we're under the impression that if I buy a building and I hold on to it and I don't do anything, it's still going to appreciate. Yeah, it may, right? But not as much as we assume that it will.
Right.
And so they were thinking our building is worth all of this. Well, when interest rates went up and you guys weren't, contributing to the maintenance of the building, the value of your property went down.
Absolutely.
So, we, not even just our words, we had a second appraiser done or come out here and give us an appraisal. So this is just, from their appraisal to our appraisal, and that was less than a year's time. I think their appraisal was done in November and ours was done this year.
Difference.
It's a huge difference in what they were telling us and selling us. And this is where having an agent on your side and also having your team, telling you, hey, we can't do it here because of X, Y, and Z factors, because they were trying to sell us on equity that, this is an unknown equity. This is equity you're walking into, but there's no equity.
Absolutely.
There's no equity there.
You know what's interesting about that? Because I want to talk to the person that's like me. The people that are like you, y'all get the points. But for a person like me, when you say $1 million, it's like, okay, I'm getting $1 million. Because we went from buying a building in the same deal to, I don't know if you remember this conversation, we're going to get the multiple lots that were around. Because that's what the bank was allowed to do with the interest rate at that time.